Part 1. The Rescue Doctor. Sarah Chen pressed her face against the small window of her submersible, watching the dark water outside. She had been underwater for 3 hours now, exploring the deepest parts of the Pacific Ocean near New Zealand. Her small submarine moved slowly through the black water, its lights cutting through the darkness like knives. "Computer, how deep are we now?" she asked. "Current depth, 2,800 meters, the machine voice replied. Sarah smiled. She loved being down here in the deep ocean. Most people were afraid of the dark water and the crushing pressure, but not her. She had been studying sea life for 15 years. The ocean was her home. She was looking for new types of fish and sea creatures that no one had discovered yet. Her special underwater camera was recording everything. The university back home would be very excited to see what she found. Suddenly, something strange appeared on her sonar screen. There were bright flashing lights ahead, like someone was using a flashlight underwater. But that was impossible. No human could survive at this depth without a submarine like hers. "That's weird," Sarah said to herself. "What could be making those lights?" She pushed the controls forward, moving her submarine toward the strange lights. As she got closer, she could see something amazing. There were beautiful blue and green lights dancing in the water, like underwater fireworks. "Computer, are you recording this?" she asked. "Yes, Dr. Chen. All cameras are recording." Sarah moved even closer. The lights were coming from some kind of underwater building or structure. It looked like it was made of coral and metal mixed together. But something was wrong. Part of the structure was broken and falling down. Then Sarah saw something that made her heart stop. There was someone trapped under the broken pieces. The person looked human, but different. She could see it was a young woman, but her skin seemed to glow with soft light. The woman had long, flowing hair that moved in the water like seaweed. She was trying to push away the heavy pieces of the broken structure, but she was too weak. "Oh my God," Sarah whispered. "She's drowning." Sarah knew she had to help, but it was very dangerous. Her submarine was not designed for rescue work. If she tried to help, and something went wrong, they could both die, but she couldn't just watch someone drown. Sarah quickly operated her submarine's robot arms. Every submarine like hers had mechanical arms on the outside for collecting samples. She had never used them to save someone before. She moved her submarine carefully toward the trapped woman. The robot arms reached out and grabbed the heavy pieces of broken coral and metal. Sarah pulled with all the strength her machine had. Come on," she said, sweating inside her submarine. The first piece moved a little, then a little more. Finally, it broke free and floated away into the dark water. The woman was still trapped under more pieces. Sarah could see she was getting weaker. The woman's glowing skin was getting dimmer, like a flashlight with a dying battery. Sarah worked faster. She used one robot arm to hold the broken structure up and the other to pull the woman free. It was like playing a very dangerous game with giant metal hands. Finally, the woman came free. But now Sarah had a new problem. The woman was floating in the water, not moving. She might be unconscious or dying. Sarah had an emergency chamber in her submarine. It was meant for bringing up samples of deep-sea creatures, but it could work for a person too. She had never tried it before. She opened the chamber and used her robot arms to carefully place the woman inside. Then she filled it with water and started rising toward the surface. "Computer, emergency ascent. Take us up as fast as safely possible," Sarah ordered. "Warning, rapid ascent may cause decompression problems," the computer said. "Do it anyway," Sarah replied. As they rose through the dark water, Sarah looked at the woman in her emergency chamber. She could see her more clearly now. The woman definitely wasn't human. Her skin was pale and see-through in some places. She had what looked like gills on her neck, but they were closed now. Her hands had thin webbing between the fingers, like a duck's feet. The woman's hair was long and white, moving in the water like it was alive. Her face was beautiful, but different from any human face Sarah had ever seen. Her eyes were larger than normal and completely black. But the most amazing thing was her skin. Even unconscious, it glowed softly with blue and green light, just like the lights Sarah had seen at the underwater structure. "What are you?" Sarah whispered. As her submarine rose higher, Sarah activated her emergency beacon. This would call for help from the surface. She hoped the rescue ships would arrive quickly. The woman in the emergency chamber suddenly opened her eyes. They were completely black, like looking into the deep ocean at night. She looked around in panic, then saw Sarah through the glass window between them. Their eyes met. The woman pressed her hand against the glass. Sarah pressed her hand against the same spot on her side. Even through the glass and water, Sarah felt something strange, like a small electric shock. The woman's mouth moved, and Sarah heard something impossible. Even though there was water and glass between them, she heard a voice in her head. It wasn't speaking English or any language she knew, but somehow she understood the meaning. "Thank you," the voice said in her mind. "You saved me." Then the woman's eyes closed again, and she went back to being unconscious. Sarah's heart was beating very fast. What had just happened? How had she heard the woman's voice in her mind? This was impossible. Her submarine broke through the surface of the ocean with a loud splash. The bright sunlight hurt Sarah's eyes after being in the darkness for so long. She could see her support ship in the distance, moving toward her. But something else was happening too. The water around her submarine began to bubble and move in strange ways. Sarah looked down through her window and saw huge dark shapes moving, far below the surface. They were bigger than whales, but moving too fast to be whales. More shapes appeared. They seemed to be rising from the deep ocean, coming toward the surface. Sarah counted at least 6 or 7 huge forms moving in the water below her. "What the hell?" she said. Her radio crackled to life. "Dr. Chen, this is Captain Martinez on the rescue ship. We see you on the surface. Are you okay?" Sarah grabbed her radio. "Captain, I'm okay, but I have a situation here. I rescued someone from the deep ocean. She's not human. And I think there are more of them down there." There was silence on the radio for a moment. "Dr. Chen, did you say not human?" Captain Martinez asked. "That's correct. I have an unknown humanoid life form in my emergency chamber. She appears to be aquatic. And there are large, unidentified forms moving beneath my submarine right now." Sarah watched as the dark shapes circled below her submarine, but they didn't come any closer to the surface. It was like they were waiting for something. The woman in the emergency chamber opened her eyes again. This time she looked directly at Sarah and spoke again with that strange voice in Sarah's mind. "My people are coming," the voice said. "They are afraid you will hurt me. Please do not let them hurt you. You are good. You saved me when you could have saved yourself instead." "Who are you?" Sarah thought back, hoping the woman could hear her thoughts too. "I am Marina of the Deep Current tribe. We have lived in your ocean since before your people walked on land. You are the first surface dweller to save one of us." Sarah's rescue ship was getting closer, but the dark shapes in the water were getting closer too. Whatever was about to happen, Sarah knew her life was about to change forever. She had gone down into the ocean looking for new fish. Instead, she had found an entire civilization that had been hiding in Earth's oceans for thousands of years, and somehow, by saving one drowning girl, Sarah had just made first contact with an alien species that had been living on Earth all along. Part 2. Revelation and Recognition. The rescue ship pulled Sarah's submarine onto its deck with a loud mechanical whir. Captain Martinez and his crew surrounded the small submarine, their faces full of worry and curiosity. "Dr. Chen, are you hurt?" Captain Martinez asked as Sarah climbed out of her submarine. I'm fine, Sarah said, but we need to get my passenger to medical care immediately. The crew carefully removed the emergency chamber containing Marina. Through the clear walls, they could see the unconscious alien girl floating in the water. Her skin still glowed with soft blue light, and her gills were opening and closing slowly. Jesus Christ, whispered one of the sailors. What is that thing? She's not a thing, Sarah said firmly. She's a person, and she needs help. Dr. Williams, the ship's medical officer, stared at Marina with wide eyes. Sarah, I don't know how to treat whatever this is. Her biology is completely different from humans. Then we learn, Sarah said. She saved herself by staying conscious long enough to tell me how to help her. She's intelligent. Captain Martinez was looking over the side of the ship at the ocean. Dr. Chen, we have another problem. Our sonar is showing at least 12 large objects moving beneath us. They're bigger than whales, but they're not whales. Sarah joined him at the rail. The water below was dark, but she could see shapes moving just under the surface. They were keeping their distance, but they were definitely there. They're her people, Sarah said. She told me they're coming. She told you? How? Dr. Williams asked. I know it sounds crazy, but she spoke to me telepathically. In my mind. The crew exchanged worried looks. Captain Martinez grabbed his radio. This is Captain Martinez calling Naval Command. We have a first contact situation. I repeat, first contact situation. We need immediate assistance and orders. While they waited for a response, Sarah stayed close to Marina's chamber. The alien girl's eyes opened again. Those completely black eyes that looked like the deep ocean itself. Marina, Sarah said aloud, hoping the girl could hear her. Can you understand? Me! Marina's voice appeared in Sarah's mind again, clearer this time. Yes, Sarah Chen. I can hear your thoughts when you direct them to me. How do you know my name? I touched your mind when you saved me. I learned your language and some of your memories. You are a good person. You study the ocean because you love it, not because you want to take from it. Dr. Williams was setting up medical equipment around Marina's chamber. Her heart rate is stable, but it's much slower than human normal. Her body temperature is lower, too. It's like she's adapted for deep, cold water. Marina's mental voice continued. Dr. Williams is trying to help me. That is good, but he should know, I do not breathe like you. I process oxygen from water through my gills, but I can also hold oxygen in my blood for long periods. Sarah repeated Marina's words to Dr. Williams, who looked shocked. She can hear us? He asked. Tell him yes, Marina said in Sarah's mind. And tell him I am grateful for his care, Sarah translated. Dr. Williams stared at Marina with new respect. This is incredible, he whispered. She's more advanced than us. 2 hours later, a military helicopter landed on the ship's deck. A stern woman in a Navy uniform stepped out, followed by several soldiers and scientists. I'm Admiral Hayes, the woman said. We're taking control of this situation under national security protocols. Admiral, with respect, Sarah said. This isn't a military situation. This is a first contact with an intelligent species. Dr. Chen, we have sonar reports of large, unidentified objects surrounding this ship. That makes it a military situation. Admiral Hayes ordered Marina's chamber to be loaded onto the helicopter. Sarah insisted on going with her. Marina can only communicate through me right now, Sarah explained. If you want to learn anything, you need me there. During the helicopter ride to a secure facility, Marina's mental voice was weak but determined. Sarah, my people are very afraid. They have watched your species for thousands of years. Most of my people think humans are dangerous. They destroy the ocean with their waste and their ships. Are they right? Sarah asked mentally. Some humans are, but you are not. You risked your life for a stranger. That is rare, even among my people. The helicopter landed at a secret military base on the coast. Marina was taken to a special medical facility with a large tank of seawater. Sarah was allowed to stay as Marina's translator. Over the next few days, Marina grew stronger. She could now float in the tank and speak clearly through her mental connection with Sarah. The scientists were amazed by everything they learned. "Tell them about your people," Sarah suggested. Marina's thoughts were full of ancient memories. "We are the Abyssal Collective. We have lived in Earth's deepest oceans for over 50,000 years. We came from the stars long ago, but this ocean became our home." The lead scientist, Dr. Peterson, was writing frantically as Sarah translated. "We built our cities in the deep trenches," Marina continued. "We learned to work with the ocean instead of fighting it. We grow our buildings from living coral. We power our cities with heat from underwater volcanoes." "How many of your people are there?" Dr. Peterson asked. Marina was quiet for a moment. "Millions. We have cities under every ocean on Earth. We have been the guardians of the deep waters." "Guardians?" Admiral Hayes asked suspiciously. "We protect the ocean from dangers that would harm all life on Earth. We stop underwater volcanoes from becoming too active. We guide dangerous storms away from your coasts. We clean poisons from the deep water before they can spread." Sarah felt a chill as she translated this. "You've been protecting us this whole time?" "Yes, but it is becoming harder. Your people put more poison in the water each year. The ocean is getting warmer. The coral is dying. We cannot fix everything alone anymore." Admiral Hayes leaned forward. "What do your people want from us?" Marina's response surprised everyone. "We want nothing from you. But some of us now think we should help each other. The ocean is dying, and if it dies, both our peoples will die with it. And the others? The others think your people cannot be trusted. They want to hide deeper and let you destroy yourselves." "What changed their minds about helping us?" Sarah asked. Marina looked directly at her through the tank's glass wall. "You did, Sarah Chen. When you saved me, you proved that some humans will risk everything to help a stranger. My father is the leader of our council. He sent me to study the deep ocean borders where human activity is increasing. Your father, King Narion of the Western Deep. He rules over 3 million of our people. When I tell him what you did for me, it will change how he sees your species." Dr. Peterson looked excited. This could be the most important moment in human history, but Admiral Hayes looked worried. "Dr. Chen, ask her about the objects our sonar detected. Are they weapons?" Marina's mental voice became sad. "They are my people's ships. They came to rescue me, but also to judge whether humans can be trusted. If they decide you are too dangerous..." She paused. "What happens then?" Sarah asked. "Then they will take me home, and my people will sink deeper into the oceans. Your people will never see us again. And when your poisoned oceans finally die, we will survive in the deepest places while your world burns." The room fell silent. "But there is another choice," Marina continued, her mental voice growing stronger. "If my people believe humans can change, we can work together. We have technology that could heal the oceans. You have creativity and determination that amazes us." Sarah felt hope growing in her chest. "What do we need to do?" "My father is coming. Here. Tomorrow night he will rise from the deep ocean to meet with your leaders. This will be the first time in 50,000 years that our species have met officially." Marina looked directly at Sarah. "And you, Sarah Chen, will be our translator. You are the bridge between our worlds now." Admiral Hayes grabbed her radio. "Get me the president. Now." As night fell, Sarah stood on the deck of a Navy ship watching the ocean. Tomorrow would change everything. Either humanity would gain new allies in saving the planet, or they would lose their secret guardians forever. Marina floated beside the ship in a special transport tank, her bioluminescent skin glowing brighter as she sensed her father approaching from the depths. "Are you nervous?" Sarah asked her mentally. "Yes," Marina replied. "But I have hope. You showed me that humans have good hearts. Tomorrow, I will show my father the same thing." In the dark water below, ancient lights began to glow as the abyssal collective rose from the deep ocean to meet humanity for the first time. Part 3. The Deeper Connection. The next morning, Sarah sat beside Marina's tank watching the alien girls swim in graceful circles. Over the past week, Marina had grown stronger and more comfortable around humans. Sarah had spent every day learning about Marina's people and teaching her about human culture. "Marina, can you show me more of your language?" Sarah asked. Marina's mental voice was warm in Sarah's mind. "Language is not just words for us, Sarah. Watch." Marina's skin began to glow, in different patterns. Blue waves flowed across her arms, followed by green spirals on her back. Yellow dots appeared on her forehead in complex arrangements. "Each pattern is a different meaning," Marina explained. "Blue waves mean friendship. Green spirals mean learning. Yellow dots in this pattern mean joy." Sarah watched in amazement. "Your whole body is like a living book." "Yes, we can speak across great distances in the deep ocean this way. Your species uses sound waves. We use light patterns." Dr. Peterson entered the room carrying a tablet computer. "Sarah, we've prepared some materials to show Marina about human civilization. The president wants her to understand our culture before the meeting tonight." Sarah nodded and turned the tablet toward Marina's tank. "Marina, this is called music. It's how humans express emotions through sound." She played a piece of classical music. Marina's eyes widened, and her skin began glowing in new patterns Sarah had never seen before. "This is beautiful," Marina said in her mind. "Your people create patterns with sound waves instead of light. It makes my spirit feel, how do you say, lifted? Happy," Sarah suggested. "Music makes you feel happy." "Yes, happy. Play more." Sarah showed Marina different types of music: rock, jazz, folk songs from different countries. Each style made Marina's skin glow in different colors and patterns. She was especially fascinated by songs about the ocean. "Your people sing about the sea with such love," Marina observed. "But many of you fear the deep water. This is strange to me." "Many humans can't swim," Sarah explained. "The ocean is dangerous for us. We can't breathe underwater like you." Marina floated thoughtfully. "This is why my people thought humans could never understand the ocean. But you, Sarah, you love the deep water even though it could kill you. This is very brave." Admiral Hayes entered the room looking stressed. "Dr. Chen, we have a problem. Our sonar shows at least 50 large objects surrounding our ship now. They're staying deep, but they're definitely watching us." Marina's skin flickered with rapid red patterns. "My father has brought many ships. Some of them carry warriors, not diplomats." "Warriors?" Sarah asked with alarm. "There are 3 groups among my people," Marina explained. "The peaceful current, who want to help humans. The deep isolationists, who want to hide deeper and never contact your people again. And the storm tide, who think humans are too dangerous and should be stopped." Sarah felt cold fear in her stomach. "Stopped how?" "The storm tide has the power to create tsunamis, to turn ocean currents cold, to make your coastal cities flood. They think this is the only way to save the ocean from human destruction." Admiral Hayes was writing frantically. "How many of your people support each group?" Marina was quiet for a long moment. "Before you saved me, most supported the deep isolationists. But now, it is more even. The peaceful current has grown stronger because of what you did, Sarah. But so has the storm tide. They fear that contact with humans will corrupt our people." "And your father? What does he believe?" "My father leads the peaceful current. But he must listen to all 3 groups. Tonight's meeting will decide which path my people take." Dr. Peterson looked worried. "What can we do to convince them we're worth helping?" Marina turned to Sarah. That depends on you, Sarah Chen. Me? I'm just a marine biologist. I'm not a diplomat. But you are the bridge, Marina said. My people have a law from the ancient times. If a surface dweller saves an abyssal life without expecting reward, they can undergo the depth bond ritual. What's that? Admiral Hayes asked. Marina's skin glowed with silver patterns that seemed almost sacred. The depth bond connects a surface dweller to our collective consciousness. They gain some of our abilities to breathe underwater, to withstand deep ocean pressure, to understand our true language without translation. Sarah's heart beat faster. Has this ever been done before? Never with a human. We have done it with dolphins and whales, but never with a land species. The ritual might kill you, Sarah. Human minds are not designed for our collective consciousness. But if it works, you would become the first true ambassador between our species. You could speak for both humans and abyssals. You could help both peoples understand each other. Admiral Hayes shook his head. Dr. Chen, this is too dangerous. We can't ask you to risk your life. You're not asking, Sarah said firmly. I'm volunteering. Sarah, no. Marina's mental voice was filled with panic. I care about you too much to let you die for my people. Sarah was surprised by the emotion in Marina's mental voice. Over the past week, they had become true friends. Sarah had never had a friend who could share thoughts and feelings so directly. Marina, if this works, we could save both our species. If it doesn't work, the storm tide might destroy human civilization anyway. Either way, I have to try. Marina floated silently for several minutes, her skin cycling through sad blue patterns. There is something else, Marina finally said. The depth bond is not just about gaining abilities. It creates a permanent connection between the bonded person and one member of our species. You and I would be linked for life. You would always be able to find me, and I would always know if you were in danger. Like, best friends forever? Sarah asked, trying to lighten the mood. Marina's skin flashed with what Sarah had learned was the equivalent of laughter. More than that, like family, like sisters who share the same soul. Sarah felt warmth spread through her chest. She had always wanted a sister. I accept, Sarah said. When do we do the ritual? Tonight, after the meeting with your leaders. But Sarah, you must understand, if the ritual fails, it will prove to the storm tide that humans are too weak to be our allies. They will use your death as an excuse to attack your cities. Admiral Hayes groaned. So either the ritual works and we get a miraculous alliance, or it fails and we get an underwater war. That's about right, Sarah said. No pressure. As evening approached, Sarah stood on the deck of the naval ship watching the sun set over the ocean. The water was completely calm, but she knew that beneath the surface, an entire civilization was waiting to meet humanity. Marina floated in a special tank that had been brought onto the deck. Her skin was glowing brighter than ever, responding to the nearness of her people. Sarah, Marina said in her mind, whatever happens tonight, I want you to know something. In all my life, I have never met anyone as brave and kind as you, human or abyssal. You're pretty amazing yourself, Sarah replied mentally. I never thought I'd have an alien best friend. Best friend, Marina repeated, her skin glowing with happy golden patterns. Yes, I like this human concept. The ocean began to glow with thousands of lights rising from the depths. The abyssal collective was coming to the surface for the first time in 50,000 years. Are you ready? Marina asked. Sarah took a deep breath of the ocean air. Ready as I'll ever be. But as the lights grew brighter, Sarah noticed something that made her heart sink. Some of the underwater lights were red and orange. The colors, Marina had told her, meant anger and war. Not all of Marina's people were coming in peace. Marina, Sarah said quietly, I think we're going to need a miracle tonight." "Then we will make one," Marina replied, her mental voice full of determination. Together. The first abyssal ships broke the surface, and Sarah prepared to help decide the future of two worlds. Part 4. The Bonding Ritual. The ocean erupted in light as massive ships rose from the depths. Sarah watched in amazement as 3 enormous vessels broke the surface around the naval ship. Each ship was different, reflecting the 3 factions of the Abyssal Collective. The first ship looked like a living coral reef shaped into a graceful boat. Beautiful bioluminescent patterns flowed across its surface in peaceful blues and greens. This was the Peaceful Currents vessel. The second ship was dark and smooth, almost invisible except for occasional flashes of silver light. It seemed to absorb light rather than create it. This belonged to the Deep Isolationists. The third ship made Sarah's blood run cold. It was covered in sharp spines and glowed with angry red and orange patterns. Strange electrical discharges danced around its edges. The storm tide had arrived. "Sarah," Marina said in her mind, her mental voice nervous, "my father is coming aboard your ship, but so are the other faction leaders. This will be difficult." A platform extended from the coral ship to the naval vessel. 3 figures walked across, their movements graceful despite being out of their natural element. Each wore a breathing apparatus that allowed them to survive in the air. The first figure was clearly Marina's father. He was tall and dignified, with silver hair and skin that glowed with the same gentle blue patterns as Marina's. His black eyes held wisdom and kindness. The second figure was wrapped in dark robes that seemed to absorb light. Only pale, almost transparent skin was visible around intelligent but cold eyes. This was clearly a deep isolationist. The third figure made everyone on the ship step back. He was larger than the others, with skin that pulsed with red warning patterns. His breathing apparatus looked more like a weapon than a medical device. This had to be a stormtide leader. Marina's father approached her tank first. When he saw his daughter, his skin blazed with joy patterns so bright they lit up the entire deck. "Marina, my beloved daughter," he said in a voice that somehow everyone could understand. "We feared you were lost forever." "Father!" Marina's mental voice was full of happiness. "This is Sarah Chen, the human who saved my life." King Nerion turned to Sarah and studied her carefully. Sarah felt like he was looking straight into her soul. "Sarah Chen," he said slowly, "my daughter tells me you risked your life to save a stranger. This is unusual among surface dwellers." "Not really," Sarah said, trying to stay calm. "Most humans would have done the same thing." The Stormtide leader stepped forward aggressively. "Lies! Humans destroy everything they touch. They poison the ocean and kill our coral cities with their waste." Commander Typhon speaks harshly, but not without reason. The Deep Isolationist said in a whisper-quiet voice, "I am Sage Abyssa. We have watched your species for millennia. You are destructive and short-sighted." Admiral Hayes started to argue, but King Nerion raised his hand for silence. "We did not come here to debate the past," he said. "We came because my daughter believes this human can bridge our worlds. She has requested the ancient ritual of depth bonding." Sage Abyssa looked shocked. "The depth bond? With a human? That is madness, Nerion. Their minds are too simple. She will die, and prove that surface dwellers cannot handle our gifts." Commander Typhon's skin blazed with angry red patterns. "Good. Let her die trying. When she fails, we can finally stop this foolish dream of cooperation and do what must be done to save the ocean." "And what is that?" Sarah asked, even though she was afraid of the answer. "We will sink your coastal cities," Typhon said coldly. "We will freeze your shipping lanes. We will turn the ocean against you until your species learns to respect the deep waters." or dies trying. King Nereon's skin flashed with warning patterns as he faced Typhon. You speak of genocide, Commander. That is not our way. Our way is failing, Typhon roared. Every year, more poison flows into the ocean. Every year, more of our people die from human contamination. The time for patience is over. Marina swam to the front of her tank. Commander Typhon, Sarah risked her life for me without even knowing what I was. If she can pass the depth bond ritual, it will prove that humans can change. And if she dies? Sage Abyssa asked quietly. Then we will know that cooperation is impossible, Marina admitted sadly. Sarah felt the weight of two civilizations on her shoulders. If she failed, it might mean war. If she succeeded, it might mean peace and the healing of the oceans. I'm ready, Sarah said. What do I need to do? King Nereon looked at her with respect. The ritual must be performed in the deep ocean, in one of our sacred chambers. You will need to descend to a depth that would normally kill a human. How deep? Admiral Hayes asked with concern. 4,000 meters, King Nereon replied. In a living biochamber that will attempt to alter your biology to match ours. Dr. Peterson looked horrified. That's impossible. The pressure alone would crush her. The biochamber will protect her from pressure, Marina explained. But it will try to give her gills, change her blood chemistry, and connect her mind to our collective consciousness. Most humans would die from the shock. But not all? Sarah asked hopefully. We don't know, King Nereon admitted. You would be the first. Sarah looked at Marina floating in her tank. Her alien friend's skin was cycling through worried patterns. Marina, what do you really think? Will I survive? Marina was quiet for a long moment. Then her mental voice came back, full of emotion. Sarah, you have something most humans don't have. You think with your heart as much as your head. When you saved me, you didn't calculate the risks. You just acted because it was right. That kind of courage might be what the ritual needs. Or it might get me killed, Sarah said with a nervous laugh. Yes, Marina admitted. But if you don't, try, my people will split apart. The storm tide will attack your cities, and both our species will suffer. Sarah took a deep breath of ocean air. Then let's do it. Commander Typhon's skin blazed with satisfaction. Excellent. When the human dies, we can finally take action against the surface destroyers. But King Nereon was looking at Sarah with something like hope. Prepare the sacred deep chamber. We descend at midnight. The next few hours passed quickly. Sarah was fitted with a special diving suit that would protect her during the descent. Dr. Peterson and Dr. Williams ran medical tests to establish baselines for her vital signs. Sarah, Dr. Williams said quietly, you don't have to do this. We could find another way. What other way? Sarah asked. Commander Typhon made it clear. If I don't prove that humans can change, his people will start a war we can't win. Admiral Hayes joined them. Dr. Chen, the President has authorized me to tell you that if you die trying this, you'll be remembered as a hero. But we all hope it doesn't come to that. Thanks, Admiral. That's comforting. As midnight approached, Sarah stood at the edge of the naval ship. Below, a strange biomechanical diving chamber had risen from King Nereon's coral ship. It looked like a giant glowing jellyfish made of living crystal and organic tissue. Marina's tank had been moved to the edge of the ship so she could stay close to Sarah. I'm scared, Sarah admitted mentally to Marina. I'm scared too, Marina replied. But I believe in you, Sarah. You have the strongest heart of any person I've ever known. If I die down there, you won't, Marina interrupted. And if something goes wrong, I'll be with you every step of the way. The ritual creates a connection between us. You won't be alone. Sarah smiled at her alien best friend. See you on the other side. She climbed into the bio chamber. The walls closed around her. and she felt the strange, organic ship begin to descend into the dark ocean depths. As they went deeper, Sarah felt the chamber beginning to change her. Her lungs started to adapt. Her blood began to shift, and most, strange of all, she started to hear voices in her mind. Not just Marina's voice, but thousands of others. The abyssal collective consciousness was calling to her. Either she would join it, or it would destroy her human mind completely. Part 5. The unforeseen reward. Sarah felt like she was drowning and flying at the same time. The biochamber had descended 4,000 meters into the ocean depths, and now it was changing her body in ways she never thought possible. Her lungs burned as they adapted to process oxygen from water. Her blood felt like ice and fire flowing through her veins. But worst of all, her mind was being flooded with thousands of alien voices, all speaking at once. "Marina!" Sarah called out mentally, her thoughts desperate. "I can't handle this! There are too many voices." Marina's familiar mental voice cut through the chaos like a lifeline. "Sarah, focus on my voice only. Block out the others. Concentrate on our friendship." Sarah tried to focus on Marina, but the other voices were too strong. She could hear the thoughts of every abyssal in the collective consciousness, millions of minds all connected together. Their emotions crashed over her like tsunami waves. Some voices were curious about the strange human joining them. Others were afraid. Many were angry, echoing Commander Typhon's hatred of surface dwellers. "I can't do this," Sarah thought desperately. "It's too much. I'm going to die down here." But then something unexpected happened. As Sarah's mind began to shut down from the overwhelming mental pressure, her human memories began to mix with the abyssal collective consciousness. The aliens suddenly experienced something they had never felt before: human emotions. They felt Sarah's love for the ocean, her wonder at discovering new sea creatures, her determination to protect marine life. Most importantly, they felt the exact moment when Sarah had decided to save Marina. They experienced her thought process. The split second when she chose to risk her own life for a complete stranger. The angry voices in the collective suddenly became quiet. "This human," one ancient voice said in wonder. "She thinks differently than we expected." "She makes decisions with her heart," another voice added. "Even when her mind says it is dangerous." More voices joined in, but now they were fascinated instead of hostile. "Show us more," they asked Sarah. "Show us how humans think." Sarah's mind began to stabilize as the collective's hostility faded. She shared her memories of studying marine biology, of her love for dolphins and whales, of her sadness when she saw pollution destroying coral reefs. But she also shared human achievements, music that made people cry with joy, art that captured beauty, stories of humans sacrificing everything to save others. "Your species is more complex than we realized," the collective consciousness acknowledged. Suddenly, Sarah felt her body changing more rapidly. Her transformation was accelerating, but now it didn't hurt. The biochamber was responding to the collective's acceptance of her. Gills opened along her neck, allowing her to breathe underwater. Her skin began to glow with soft blue patterns. Her eyes adapted to see clearly in the deep ocean darkness. But the most amazing change was in her mind. Instead of being overwhelmed by the collective consciousness, Sarah found she could speak to all of them while still maintaining her individual human thoughts. "I can hear everyone," Sarah said in wonder. "But I'm still me." "You have become something new," Marina's voice said, full of joy. "You are the first human abyssal hybrid consciousness. You can think like both species." The biochamber began to rise toward the surface, carrying Sarah back to the waiting ships. But as they ascended, Sarah heard something that made her heart sink. Through the collective consciousness, she could sense a massive disturbance in the deep ocean. Something was very wrong. "Marina, what's happening?" "I can feel something terrible in the deep water." Marina's mental voice became urgent. Sarah, while you were in the ritual, our deep-sea monitoring stations detected a massive environmental crisis. The oceanic current system is collapsing faster than we thought. Without immediate action, the entire ocean ecosystem will die within 50 years. What does that mean? It means both our species will become extinct. The ocean currents carry oxygen and nutrients to all marine life. If they stop flowing, everything dies. Fish, whales, coral reefs, and eventually all life on Earth. Sarah felt the weight of this knowledge through the collective consciousness. Millions of abyssal minds were focused on the same terrifying data. "Can your people stop it?" Sarah asked. "Not alone. We have technology that can help, but we need human cooperation. Your species has industries and resources we need to repair the damage." The biochamber reached the surface and opened. Sarah floated out into the ocean, breathing water as easily as she once breathed air. Her new gills processed oxygen perfectly, and her enhanced eyes could see clearly in the dark water. She swam toward the ships, her new abilities allowing her to move through the water like a dolphin. When she reached the naval ship, everyone gasped at her transformation. Her skin glowed with gentle blue patterns, and she could breathe both air and water by switching between her lungs and gills. "Sarah!" Dr. Peterson exclaimed. "You're alive, and you're different." "I'm still me," Sarah said, her voice now carrying harmonics that made it beautiful to hear. "But I'm also connected to the abyssal collective consciousness, and I have urgent news." King Nerion, Commander Typhon, and Sage Abyssa were waiting for her. Commander Typhon's skin was still flashing angry red patterns, but now there was uncertainty in his bioluminescent display. "The ritual worked," King Nerion said with amazement. "You survived the depth bond." "More than survived," Sarah said. "I've learned something terrible. Show them, Marina." Marina projected images through her bioluminescence, charts showing ocean, current data, temperature readings, and ecosystem collapse projections. "The ocean is dying faster than either of our species realized," Sarah explained. "If we don't work together to fix it, both humans and abyssals will be extinct within 50 years. Commander Typhon's angry patterns flickered and dimmed. This is worse than human pollution. This is total system failure." "Your wars won't matter if there's no ocean left to fight over," Sarah said firmly. "But if we combine human technology with abyssal knowledge, we can fix this." Sage Abyssa stepped forward, her dark robes rippling. "What do you propose, Hybrid One?" Sarah felt the collective consciousness helping her think through the problem. Millions of abyssal minds contributed knowledge while her human creativity found new solutions. "Joint research stations," Sarah said, "floating cities where humans and abyssals work together. We use your bioengineering to grow living structures that filter ocean toxins. We use human manufacturing to build the equipment you need. Together, we restore the ocean currents." Admiral Hayes looked skeptical. "The governments of the world will never agree to that." "They will when they see the alternative," Sarah said. She turned to address all three abyssal leaders. "I can be your ambassador to humanity. I can speak for both species and help them understand each other." Commander Typhon's skin patterns shifted from red to orange to yellow, anger cooling to uncertainty to cautious hope. "You would do this?" he asked. "Give up your old life to save both our peoples?" Sarah looked at Marina floating beside the ship. Her alien best friend's skin was glowing with patterns of love and pride. "It's not giving up my old life," Sarah said. "It's starting a new one, a better one." King Nerion's skin blazed with joyful patterns. "Then we accept your proposal, Ambassador Sarah Chen. You will be the first official representative between our species." 6 months later, Sarah stood on the deck of the first joint human abyssal research station. The floating city was a marvel of combined technology, living coral structures grown by abyssal bioengineering, powered by human solar panels and wind turbines. Around the station, The ocean was visibly cleaner. Fish populations were recovering. The dying coral reefs were growing back stronger than before. Sarah could breathe both air and water, allowing her to work with scientists from both species. Her connection to the collective consciousness meant she could instantly share discoveries. Between human and abyssal researchers, Marina swam up to the platform where Sarah was standing. Her friend had been appointed as the abyssal co-director of the research station. "Sarah, the latest data looks amazing," Marina said mentally. "Ocean current stability is improving faster than we hoped." "That's wonderful," Sarah replied. "How are the new stations coming along?" "We now have 12 joint research stations around the world. The humans call them guardian cities." "I like that name." Sarah smiled as she watched human children and young abyssals playing together in the clear water around the station. A few of the human children had volunteered for limited depth bonding, giving them the ability to swim underwater and communicate with their abyssal friends. "Marina, do you ever regret that day when you got trapped in the underwater ruins?" Marina's skin flashed with happy golden patterns. "Never. Getting trapped led to you saving me. You saving me led to first contact. First contact led to saving both our worlds. So my reward for saving one drowning alien girl was becoming the bridge between two civilizations and helping to heal an entire planet," Marina finished. Sarah looked out at the restored ocean, where human ships and abyssal vessels worked side by side. "Not bad for a day's work." "Not bad at all," Marina agreed, her mental laughter filling Sarah's mind with joy. As the sun set over the peaceful ocean, Sarah knew that her simple act of compassion had grown into something greater than she ever imagined. She had saved one life and ended up saving